Last season, we finished in 15th place. This year, we're expected to finish in 18th place, bottom of the table once again, despite the newly promoted teams being around the relegation fight, which I suppose is not too shocking. We have now got the Continental Pro license, and our attributes are as follows. It's a promising look, and hopefully this season we'll have a better end of the season, and just a better season overall than we did the entirety of last year. The dynamics are looking decent despite the fact we're not doing so well. We have a player who's looking to move on for a new challenge. We brought in 4 more staff members since we last met, including one just after we got our new owner. We brought in Bruno Bocafoglia as a director of football until 2031. He's very good for the role, and I think he'll help us long term with other things we don't want to take care of. He's also got a spirited personality. I've also brought in a second team manager in Jan Janik. He is okay, not amazing, but he's okay. He's contracted until 2029. I could get him on a new coaching course, but I haven't done so yet. I was also brought in Matthias Hamwell as the second team's assistant manager. He's actually better than our current manager in the second team, but again, he's also just got a National A license, so we can definitely improve him. The last person we brought in was Rashid Martins for the second team performance analysis. He's quite good for what he is, and while he's not perfect, he's definitely better than I was hoping, so that's not the end of the world. We've still got 3 more weeks before our training facilities have been fully completed for the upgrades, and by the time it is, they should be good. So hopefully, we can benefit from that. The board just want us to attempt to avoid relegation and to reach the cup, which should be done easily because we're already into the cup properly, so I'm not sure why that's an issue. The supporters still want us to become an established club, so should I be concerned? I don't know. Looking at the squad though, we've got 4 goalkeepers who I'm hoping can help us, and while one of them was a bit useless and is being paid quite a bit of money, he's still our best goalkeeper. And yes, Perel is hopefully going to be better this year than he was last year. His average rating of a 6.64 is his worst. The fact he'd never gotten an average rating worse than a 6.91 before that season was a bit concerning as a regular starter, so I was a bit confused as to why he did so badly. Igor Botnik has actually done well in his first 9 games, conceding just 7 goals. He's already done better than our previous goalkeeper, which says a lot. The fact he got 4 clean sheets in those 9 matches meant he's conceded 7 goals in 5, which is again not ideal. Michel Furman kept a clean sheet in his only appearance last year, which tells you that we've had to play 3 different goalkeepers in goal because I just genuinely didn't know who our best goalkeeping option was, which is probably not a good thing to admit. But still, we've got this kid who is not ready for the first team yet, but I'm including him in this video anyway because he's got potential and I want to really make sure this guy is our first choice goalkeeper in the long term. Look at the right back position, we've got 4 different players that I can probably use, and first of which is our captain Krull, who's now wanted, and it's a team that's finished in the top 5 for the last couple of years. He hates big matches, but other than that, that's the only issue with him. I'm just hoping he improves his ratings because ever since we've been in this division, he's not been amazing to say the least, especially for the role he's playing in. Well, Marcin has been okay. 61 appearances for the club so far. Hasn't really been a starter, but he has been improving to the point he's now a second tier player, so hopefully he will be good enough to cause some problems and actually replace Krull long term. He's still only 18, mind you. And while his average ratings have not been great, which probably tells me that it might be the role, not the players, I need to hope for the best that we have good players coming through sooner rather than later. But I've also got Marcin okay, and he's not great, but he's not terrible either. He's a 3rd tier player, but he's also very inconsistent. He played 1 time last year. I don't think he had a good game. He had a 6.7 average rating, so okay, maybe he wasn't terrible. We do also have Norbert Schostek, who could play on both wings. Probably not going to want to use him really, but he's played 102 times for the second team, scored 5 goals, also very inconsistent. And yeah, looking at the left back role, Marcin can also play there as well as Norbert, but I'm going to look to the other 2 players anyway. Marcel is easily our best player in the role. In the left hand side, very consistent, is someone who doesn't like big matches, but is normally pretty good either way. Has scored twice in 117 games, is our best player, and does produce the ratings when he is playing. I just need to not be poached by a bigger team, and there's some good teams, former champions, wanting him. Looking at the left back position, we found at least 2 more players that I can generally say would be good enough for the role. Looking at Jacob though, I don't think he's going to be good enough for the role long term, and is only going to be a good second tier player. Hates big matches as well. Very injury prone. Still, the other two young talents is Jacob Wozniak. Could be good. Hopefully he'll be better. He's also only 16. He is inconsistent, but is unambitious as well, so we definitely need to make sure he's better long term. While the other young talent is Jacob Tasic, and he's very inconsistent. Low determination. There's not a lot of options really for us, and I'm hopeful we can get some better talents coming through sooner rather than later. So centre back, we do have some options I'm willing to look at, and hopefully we can benefit from this long term. So let's go with the players. Zorek is the player that I'm going to talk about the first and foremost. He's the 31-year-old who is only a second tier player, and he's probably not going to get much better, but hopefully he can actually do better this year. Average rating last year, 6.85, but has been consistently good otherwise. Petroki, definitely I don't see an improvement in, but he's actually a decent top tier player, so I think this guy long term is going to be the man that will be hopefully making a better defender. So I don't think much of this guy, but he's also not very good. He is 6'4". He's a leading third tier player who could be a good second tier player. Honestly, don't think this guy will be with us long term. I think this will be last year with us, but it's not ideal, to say the least. Same could be said about Bodan, who's got 2 years left in his contract. Don't see him having a good future with us. He's hates big matches, only going to be good enough to be a good second tier player. That's most of our players effectively in the centre back, so that's an issue. This guy, midfielder, I have transferred to him still. Just don't see a future with him, but I'm hopefully he can be proven right. He can be a defender, can be a DM, and a centre midfielder. Now, this guy I want to be proven right in when I say this guy could be a good player in the back line for the centre-back position. I think he could be the star on the left-hand side. He's left-footed, 6 foot. He hasn't got the best attributes in some areas like jumping reach and heading and all that stuff, but if he's given a game time, I'm going to try and give him some game time, and hopefully he'll be good enough for the top flight. He's got the potential for it. I just need him to actually reach it, you know? The same with this guy, who's just come from a intake. He's inconsistent, 5'10", low determination. I think he can grow, but I don't know. This guy has got a lot of potential. He's good at tackling, and he's got good aggression and decent pace. I wish he was better, but I don't know what to make of this guy otherwise. And then we got this guy who's also left-footed, but this guy is 6'7", and is actually improving. So I think Michel would be really good in this top tier. He's also consistent, good in the air, so I want him to be good. I really wish he would be a top tier player, but I don't think he'll actually become a top tier player, more like a leading second tier player. But I could be wrong. DM role, it's very young. This role is very, very young. And Dabrowski is definitely the leading candidate there. He's only 16, he's just joined. He's not very strong, but he's 16, he's even-footed, 5'7". I'm going to have to get rid of that trait. I should really get going on that, get rid of it, but he's exciting to say the least. He's a third tier player though, and that's our best position. That's our best player in this third tier, so yeah, it's not great that this is our best player and he's a third tier player. 5 games he played for us was kind of rubbish, so partly down to him I think we did badly, but hopefully he can improve quickly. Damian Kotko is actually someone I think can definitely improve and has potential to be a leading player in the top flight in the future, potentially. He's consistent, he's very good, I think, and when he was playing, a 6.88 average rating, so he's definitely got the ability, and I think we've got options here now. Modder, I was told not to trust. I've given him game time, and 7 games he's played, he didn't actually do a lot, but hopefully I'm going to be proven right in the future with this guy. He's wanted on, let's say on loan, he was not the transfer, but he's injury prone. He is consistent, so hopefully he'll be better in the long term, hopefully. Well, Polina is also a player that I want to see do better. He's got the ability, he's played 20 times, he is inconsistent, a third tier player, hasn't had the best average ratings of 6.68, so this is an issue that I've always known we've had. We just had problems finding the players for the role, and it's just getting worse and worse with the players coming through. I just don't know what to do with this guy. Midfield, it's kind of obvious who our best players are, but I'm going to talk about him anyway. Damien is our best midfielder. He's always been a decent or good top tier player now. He's wanted by some big teams, I think. Well, not really. I can keep hold of him. He's got another 3 years left in his contract. I want him to be good. He's 26 now. I need him to be good. He needs to be a player that really benefits from our performances. He's been really good in the past couple of years. Last year was the first time he actually dipped below a 7.0 rating in the entire campaign, entire save. Consistently gets 5 goals a season as well in the last few years, so he's very, very prolific in that regard. He doesn't have big matches though. He is injury prone, but he is consistent, so definitely can rely on this guy. Jan is also one of those players that I think has a lot of potential. Could be a decent top flight player, which is fine. He's a good second tier player right now, but has been consistent over the years. I've been really giving him a lot of chance over the years, really, to show what he can do. And he's never really moved down until this season. We got like a 6.8 average rating. Before that, he was consistently doing okay and had been doing good stuff in the last 2 years in the league. So I'm hoping he can bounce back this year and do better, because I need him to be doing better. But then we got the young talents. Adam is one of those talents, and I think if he wasn't for the inconsistency, he'll be the person I'll be throwing it a lot more. 16th of age, he got an average rating of 6.7. Most of the appearances came on from the bench, so that's why it's so low. But he can be good. Didn't get an assist last season like he did the year before, but he's got potential. He's still young. I think he'll be a talent in the future. The same can be said about Majid, but the only difference is this guy's not inconsistent, so potentially can be really, really good. He's also box-to-box, unlike the other guy, who is a Mazzala, so options. We've also got Daniel Palec, who's not with the club yet, but he's definitely an inverted winger or midfielder. He's also inconsistent though. I also don't know what to make of this guy, but he could be good in this day. He just needs to actually perform, you know, and be given a chance. Whilst Thomas Kaczynski is also a player that I think could be good. Box-to-box, not inconsistent. He's actually not consistent either though. Has potential. I don't know if he'll reach it, but he could be an inverted wing as well. So he's someone I could use. Speaking of inverted wingers, right though, we've got a few options here, and Rai Beaky is the one that's been with us from the very start, has been very, very good, and has been declining, unfortunately. His physicals have gone off a cliff, and last year was his worst season, even if he produced the 2 best goals of the season. When he's been good, he's been really, really good. And the season before last, he was so good for us, but he's starting to show his decline, and it's hurt us, and it's his physicals going that's really damaged his potential ability. So I might need to release him after this season, which is an absolute shame, because he's consistent, he's a good fit, he's been a good leader. I'm going to miss him because he's really, really good. But we have Polek, who I think could be good. If only he wasn't extremely inconsistent, this guy would be amazing. He's very, very quick though. And despite having the inconsistency problems, he's actually got a 6.72 average rating in his first 5 games. Mostly for the bench, but he's got a potential to be a star for us, so hopefully be good. Bit of personality, also really, really useful. Lazowski is definitely a left and right winger. Mostly only use him on the left wings, but he's unambitious. He's got pace though, and he's got good flair, so I think he could be a danger on his day. I just wish he wasn't performing so badly. Now Simon's a player that is definitely a winger, but very professional, is improving, is inconsistent. It's a problem with his team. It's very inconsistent. Hasn't played a game for us yet, but very professional, is useful, and is definitely improving. Sadowski hasn't played a game. I'm showing him this guy because he's got potential to be better. Whether or not he would be good enough to be in the first team or not, I don't know, but he's definitely a pace merchant. Left wings, well, you could already see some problems here. There's a 17-year-old who's considered a promising winger. Matthias Noack got the hat-trick last year. Inconsistent though, and yeah, a 6.89 average rating last year. The year before, a 7.0 average rating. On his day, he could be amazing. I want to use him as an inverted winger or inside forward, but he's got attributes that really make me want to use him. He's really, really good. He's just not really showing it, and yeah, he's annoying. He's really, really annoying. Philippe is a player that wants to leave, and I'm probably going to let him go. 32 years of age, only a leading player for the 3rd tier. I could see myself sending him. I really could, even if he's really consistent. There is 2 more players to talk about, and the first of which is Robert Sadal, who's actually an inverted winger, so I probably should have mentioned before. He's inconsistent though, so he's a bit annoying. The last person though is Daniel Nurici, who, while inconsistent and has injury problems, is actually someone with a good load of potential. Strikers though, this is our best striker, and I just don't like him anymore. He's been very annoying in the last couple of years. 6.68 average rating, that's the problem. First 3 years, he was amazing. This year, absolutely useless. With Kurowski getting better and being able to be an advanced forward, this guy is his long-term replacement as far as I'm concerned. But we've also got this guy, Burrell, who could also be very good as a striker on his day if he gets to his potential. He's just very inconsistent. We've also got Dariusz Jasinski, who is a striker in my mind. I can't be convinced otherwise. He's got great potential to be a striker as well. He's inconsistent, but that's the only issue with him. And we've also got Alexander Sabrin, who's an inverted winger and also a striker. So, yeah, options for this guy, a lot of them. But that's what I want to talk about today. I want to talk about the players that we have in the squad that could be with us for this season. I also want to talk about the fact we are trying to improve things that people brought in as staff members, as well as our coaching badge. So I'm going to end this here. I hope you guys have enjoyed yourselves. I hope you guys like and share this video and that you subscribe to the channel. It really does help me out a lot. Leave away. Until next time, goodbye and well, good night.